Again in the bedroom. I like it in the bed. I like it Monday, snuggy, in the bed. In the bed. Hi, everybody. It's me, Lisa Concepcion, with Lisa's Lowdown on Love Live. From inside the bedroom. I'm going to get under my nice, comfy little blankie. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, my little adventure. My adventure in Miami. And all I learned, and hopefully what you guys can come away with, based on my shit show story of what happened. It's coming up a little hot and pink in this room. Hold on a second. I gotta see. Maybe we're gonna do a change of venue. I gotta get the lighting on point. Let's see what goes on. Maybe we'll have to snuggle up on the couch. Ooh, look at me. Better lighting. All right, so this is going to be good. This will be nice. We're going to scooch up on the couch, and I'm just going to keep it real and talk to you all and share my story with you. So I want to say hey to Brad Koza watching. Shout out. Mark Thompson. We got Ken Eversol. Hi, my eye's going. Evs off. I got New York people. I got representation. Gene Stein, what's up? Nicole Maiden, Randy Zuniga. What's up, Randy? Oh, Randy, good to see you up on the Facebook Live. Man, so many cool people coming on. Al Eldridge. Wow, all these people who are on the journey, on the path. When I got here in 2010. And I think I left off on the last Facebook Live talking about when I first came to Miami from New Jersey and how hurt and I was missing my husband and I was so hopeful that we'd get back together and I was my head was spinning, but I had this total tough girl exterior and I just wanted to lose myself in the fun, right? So you come to Miami. I got here 2010. I'm 39 at this point. And my then husband decided to move to San Diego. So we were apart. I got here late September. So it was almost October. So October, November, December, January, February, March. So it was 5 months apart from my husband. And what I find really interesting is that, there are people who do military deployments away from their spouses for years. And it's so amazing because the mindset is different, right? So you have these people who are oh, I miss my husband. He's in Iraq and it's terrible. And we talk and we, communicate and it's just miss him so much. And then I'm thinking of my ex-husband and I was dude, we're in emotional war. This is the emotional, equivalent of a major war in yourself. You're just at battle. And he's in San Diego and I'm in Miami. And we had this policy. It was very unspoken. But I kind of had this policy where I was rolling if we don't share a bed nor a roof, then you have no right to know what I'm doing while you're choosing to be apart from me. And I don't want to know what you're doing. So it was a very don't ask, don't tell type of policy. And I come to Miami. And I'm here about, an hour. And I'm moving my stuff in and, my dad's here. And I'm already sizing up, this is moving into a dorm. This is taking me back to college years. I moved into the Flamingo. And I moved out of the Flamingo 7 months later. But my initial goal was to find an apartment where, one, I could fit all my big-ass Jersey furniture, and two, I could have my dog. So I moved into the Flamingo. It's September, October of 2010, and I am get me a drink, let's start the party. I was not joking around. So, it comes from a place of hurt, right? So a lot of times when we're hurting, especially when our relationships are in turmoil, we look to escape. Some people might escape in partying and drinking and drugging and sex and promiscuity and just going all out hardcore because they don't want to face the little inner talk that happens when you're alone. You know, when you're by yourself and you have these deep conversations in your own mind, like it's too heavy, it's too much. So you escape. So I did a lot of that type of stuff. No drugs, it wasn't my thing, but definitely loved me some champagne. Who likes champagne in the watching? Who's watching and who's like all about some bubbles? Also was very happy with vodka, rum, gin. I mean, not all at once, but you know, I had my drink and went out, had a great time. And interestingly, a friend of mine, Lisa, who lived part in New York, part in Miami, like really knew the scene down here because she had an apartment here. So she would come down for like weeks at a time. She'd blow out, go back to New York, and then come back again. So I was like, cool, I have a friend here who I can roll with, who I can go and hang out and go around town. I didn't really know anybody here. I came here knowing no one. So right away, Lisa, we go out. It's the Lisa Cult Jam. Lisa, are you watching? I didn't see you in the feed, but I think you're watching with your brother. Anyway, now there she is. You're speaking about me, she says. I love you, girl. So, so Lisa and I go out to Mint. It's a club here in Miami, and I'm not even kidding you. Like in 2010, I mean, I could kind of get away with going to Mint in 2010, but like I was right at that danger zone of being like the hot old chick hanging out at a really younger kind of club. But whatever, we went, the music was amazing, and people our age would go. Like, we would all kind of go together, so it was really fun. But I remember one time, it was very, very soon, as soon as I got to Miami. I think I was here maybe like 3 weeks. And we're at Mint, and like it's 2:30 in the morning, and it's kind of the witching hour. It's like the time of the night where like everybody's looking to find their person to like that they're going to hook up with or whatever. And I could care less. I'm just hanging out thinking like whatever. I'm just going to go home and walk the dog and go to bed. And in comes this kid. And by kid, I'm saying I didn't think he was this young, but oh my God, he looked like Ben Affleck. Right? Like Ben Affleck, but like good Ben Affleck. Like Ben Affleck when he was with J-Lo. Like that Ben Affleck. Jacked up, super cute, body, like the whole thing. Like probably 6'3", just really good looking kid. And I keep saying kid for a reason. So I look at him, he looks at me, eyes match around the little circle of Mint, and he comes over to me, starts talking to me, whatever. And, you know, the conversation is about as meaningful as it could be in the, you know, confines of Mint, a nightclub where you're like, talking kind of like this, it's so nice to meet you. Jersey, 3 weeks. Like you're trying to tell somebody whatever story you can in like, you know, that kind of environment. So anyway, long story short, he was 24 and I was 39. And in that mindset, I was like, look at me, I'm the shit, I'm so hot, I'm like your quintessential cougar girl, look at me, la la la. And it was just the beginning of like the dating journey of conflicted, split energy where the huge lesson would come, which was this. How can I possibly expect to meet somebody like legit relationship material if I'm a hot mess myself? What am I doing? So I came to Miami literally thinking that like I was going to meet my guy and I was going to continue on that pattern of no big deal. I'll go to Miami. I'll meet my new guy. I'll divorce my husband and on my way I go with the new guy, just like I did my whole life. What, like this is not going to happen? Okay, that shit's cool and funny when you're 21, but when you're 39, doesn't quite work that way. Because other people have gone through shit, and other people see what you're about and see what you're bringing to the table. Hot mess! Hot mess. Fun hot mess, super fun hot mess, but a hot mess nonetheless. So, at this point in the game, I'm going out. I'm working during the day. I'm going out at night. I'm working more in the day. I'm going out at night. And the little 24-year-old thing kind of cooled off on the day that he said to me, hey, how about you come to a pool party? And there was going to be a DJ, and it was at this house on like Pine Tree or something. And I was just like, sweetie, I can't roll up to a 24-year-old, 25-year-old, 26-year-old pool party. I'm 39. Like, I can't be doing that stuff. Like, even then, I had, like, a bell go off in my head. Like, dude, this is not cool. This is, like, way too young. But, look, women do it. Guys do it. When you're hurting and you're in that place of not knowing, I have to get up from this chair. Oh, and you're, like, not really knowing, back in the bedroom, where you're at. Like, where you are emotionally. And, like, you're hurting, and you're like, your world as you know it completely shook and spun, and you're just like, am I married? Am I divorced? I'm so confused. I love my husband. I wish he was here. This totally sucks, but I'm gonna make the best of it. And I don't know, maybe I'll find a guy, maybe not. It's a disaster. So look, the lesson learned is this. When you are going through relationship upheaval, the time to reflect and get your shit together for yourself is then. That's when you do it. You say, okay, I'm going to take a break from everything, and I'm just going to hang out, love up on myself, get my bearings, and go. But I wasn't in that head yet. I had to go like this. My journey was like mess. But you know what? Bless all of it, because I had to meet everybody along the way. Everybody was a teacher. Everybody helped me. Lord knows I had a blast. I met beautiful, beautiful people. Had so much fun. But, you know, it was like, I mean, anyway. So, you know, I have so many stories, my God. Needless to say, like, the end of it all is, you have your fun, and it's all well and good, but when it's fun for the purpose of escape, or you're like refusing to go inward with yourself, and so you're just at the club doing that life weekend after weekend, you know, burying your truth in a bottle or in some faceless, nameless, you know, sexcapade, not fulfilling, right? Because at the core, we're all loving beings. We all want to love and be loved, right? So when you're just kind of hanging out doing the party life, it gets very vapid, very old, very quickly. So at least it did for me. I'm not hating on the nightlife game at all. I loved it. I'm all about the fun. But there comes a point where you just grow up a little bit, and you're like, you know what? There's got to be more to relationships. There's got to be more to me, you know, more. So, you know, you just handle it. But what I would love to do is throw it out to you guys. And, you know, have you ever had an aftermath of a breakup where you just went balls out, I'm going to party and I'm going to throw down like a rock star, but deep down you were hurting? Did that ever happen to you? Like, how did you deal with it? So, you know, it happens to all of us. I mean, this was a thick, heavy thing because I was so conflicted. In my heart, I was married. I was somebody's wife. But then I was thrown into, you know, this whole singlehood. I mean, it was a massive, like, mind fuck. It was like, whoa, like, I'm sorry, there's like a 24-year-old, you know, licking tequila lemon off my neck. And 2 weeks ago, I was, like, in the suburbs of New Jersey, letting my dog out in the backyard with a husband. Like, this is such a wild, like, the mind just was like, whoa. And it was rough. It was a lot of times where I was looking so much for, like, not staying in by myself. I didn't like to be alone. I found myself so sad when I was by myself. So I would, like, pack every minute of my day. I was working or coming home and going out. It was like I never really had any kind of solitude, any kind of moment to just think and be clear on like what I wanted and who I was and whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I think like it's a rough thing. Divorce is a total bitch. I mean, it is no joke. Now, mind you, my ex-husband and I stayed married. We were separated, stayed married for 4.5 years. We were in this spiral cycle of stuck where we were not having sex, but we're hanging out, and sometimes he'd sleep over and we'd go to the movies and we'd date. But it was like weird. Like the energy was so weird because there was so much love there and there was so much habit there of like us being together, but we didn't know what to make of it and we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't know what to create. And I believed my ex-husband 100% needed to be on his own. He needed to just really understand who he was. So we have David, and David is weighing in saying 2.5 months separated after 31 years together, 22 years married, not hitting the clubs, but the sadness and divorce process is affecting my happiness. So rough. There's an aftermath of divorce that like, holy shit. You think that like you're mentally prepared for it, like it's just a transaction, right? Like you're gonna like go to the court, and you're gonna like sign some papers, and that's gonna like emotionally absolve you. Like you're gonna be like, okay, no more emotions. No, crazy. I was like quintessential codependent. So let's fast forward. I'll bring you like to 2015 when like the real shit show upheaval started in my life, like after this divorce, while it was happening. Basically, what ended up happening was that we were separated for 4.5 years. And finally, one day, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to turn 44 years old. I've been at this game since I was 39. Like this is almost 4.5 years of me stuck like this. So I said to my ex-husband, I said, look, if we are not making any kind of commitments to work this out and move forward together, then we need to be filing for divorce. And we would talk about it from time to time, but then he would hold on, I would hold on for sure, because I felt it was so stupid. To me, it's like, if you still love someone, you don't get divorced, period. And that was the piece that was wrestling. Like I was wrestling. I'm like, this is the stupidest divorce ever. We love each other. This is so stupid. And it was just the saddest, most frustrating thing that I like refused to let go of. But then I realized like maybe that's the thing. Maybe that marriage is over. And so now who knows what we could create after, either individually or together, or you just don't know. So I think what happened for me was like the known of what was happening was scarier than the unknown, if that makes any sense. Like the unknown of not being with my husband anymore became less scary to me than knowing that in another year, imagining another year still in marital limbo. Like that was like, oh my God, I had this like this moment where I just got super respectful of time. And I was like, holy shit, like that was 4 years ago. Like I'm in Miami 5 years almost now. Like this is insane. I can't continue like this. And yeah, just sad all the way around. I mean, we went to the court and it was awful. Like couldn't even say it. I'm like the ugly cry, like the snot and the cry and the facial, that type of shit, like a mess. And I had a cute dress on. I was done up, the hair, the whole thing. I looked cute, but mess. Got there and I'm like in front of the judge, and the judge is like, okay, we're going to get you through this. Like, and I'm just, I mean, I think about it now. I'm like, oh my God, what I looked like. But it was raw. It was like, I wasn't going to sit there and try to be like, you know, burying my feelings. I felt how I felt. It was the saddest thing ever. It was so anticlimactic. I mean, it was just like, I'm like, that's it? Like, all of these memories, all of this time together, this whole life together, and all it is just this like cattle call of people at a court, and you're like saying your name, which I was like, Lisa, like a disaster, and it awful, and then that's it, and then it's like, what do you do after? So, still love her. Oh, David again, still love her, just the wrong person for me. Hard. Because I compare all women to my ex. Unfair to them and wrong for me. If X was good for me, I'd stay. Oh, David, God, like I'm crying for you right now. I know what that is. Ricky Hernandez, I totally relate. My divorce limbo took about 1.5 years. Now throw in 2 kids. Sucks. Slowly but surely I'm getting me in order. And like, that's what it's all about. Like, you just have to get yourself in order, and it takes so much time. It really does. And like, you guys, honestly, like, I'm feeling for you because I know what that is. And, you know, sometimes like I just think about like what possessed me to go into this business, right, of coaching people. And like, I'm so empathetic because like I know what that is. Like, to sit there and be like, I still have love for this person, but I know that at this particular point in our lives, I would have to make this person be something that they are not. And they would have to make me be something I'm not. And so then that's when, you know, the most loving, unconditional thing you can do for yourself and even for them is just like let them go with love in your heart and just, you know, pray for the best, pray for them, pray for yourself. And like, you know, it sucks. And, you know, the only thing that I could relate to as far as people who have like children in the mix is that I was a child of divorce. And so like the one piece of advice that I give from the perspective of the children, like I'm super protective of the children in this, even though I never had any, but I was a child of divorce, right? So the deal is, when you have the kids involved, all of the adults in the mix have to make decisions based on those children, right? First and most, like yourselves, of course, you have to be loving to yourself. But like when you start dating people and you're not really divorced yet and you're still doing your thing and you think that you can bring people around your kids, like you need to know and you need to have a joint parental agreement on when is it cool to start bringing people around the kids? Because let me tell you, when you first get divorced and you're trying to date again, it is going to take a few people before you get it right. You're still sorting yourself out. So you're going to go through a whole lot of post-divorce hot mess people before you really get your mind right. And you know what? Maybe in that mix, you will find somebody amazing. You'll probably hurt them a lot because you're going through your own hurt. So bless them if they stick around, like my stepmother did with my dad. Bless her heart. And, you know, it was done in a way where I know my parents introduced me to people with very solid judgment. They did not just let anybody around me. They had a mindset of, you know, this is someone that I have trust with, that, you know, there's a respect there where I feel like it is appropriate to bring them around my child. At the time, I was only 3 years old when I met my stepmother. I was 7 years old when I met my stepfather. So they know me since I'm little, and it's as if I have 4 parents. So the other thing I would throw out to the parented who are going through divorce, remember that those kids are so affected by the people that you bring around them. So, you know, it's all about maturity, and there can't be fighting about petty bullshit because those kids are going to get affected by it. So, that said, I want to check the time. My God, time flies when you're doing a Facebook Live. So I really appreciate all of you watching, and I just want to give some shout outs. I got Greg Carvalho's on here, Fred Sheffield, Sabrina, I got divorced. Sabrina says, I am divorced 13 years ago. after 20 years married. Did the clubbing thing for a few years, but then it became boring and no more club for me. But I love to hang out with my friends. We have so much fun. And then there's Seymour. So Sabrina, honey, it's so important to go out and have fun and have that good group of girlfriends, that good network of friends. But, you know, like you said, it gets old. It gets very old. And you know what? I got old. And I'm like, I can't be here. I remember there was a moment, I think everybody goes through this, where there is a moment where you're at a certain place, a certain type of club or a certain kind of bar or a certain kind of thing, and you just have this like self-aware moment where you look around and it's almost like you're hovering over the entire place and you're looking at yourself standing here and you're like, I gotta go. I am way too old for this shit. And you just realize, like, there are certain places that I just can't be anymore. And, you know, it's different for men than it is women. You know, you could be a dude 55 years old and still hanging out at Live or Story or Rockwell or all these places. And I don't know. For me, I don't know. If I'm there with a group of friends and it's the same and somebody's has a birthday and we're all celebrating, different deal. But for me to just blow in there, like, this is what I was doing when I was, like, in limbo, marriage limbo. Tonight's Monday night. So back then, I think Monday night was, like, Florida room or something. Mm-hmm. And I would, like, totally go by myself. I had no problem getting gussied up and rolling up to some place alone and just striking up conversations with people. Like, I'm sorry, am I a madam? Like, who does that? Who rolls solo in a town that you just, like, barely know? But, like, I didn't care. I was like, taxi. I was like Lisa Carrie Bradshaw. Like, taxi, gonna go meet my girls, la, 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 let's all meet, la, la, la. And, you know, we had a blast. But, you know, there were a lot of times where I was just like, man, this is getting out of hand. Like, I'm going from one club to the next, to the next, to the next. It's like 3 a.m. I'm getting home. I'm walking my dog, like, late. And, you know, I had a nightstick, and I'm just like, all right, let's get this handled. But the thing is, you make these decisions. My God, when you're single and when you're in marital limbo and you're hurting and you're just looking for that distraction. All your life is about is, how can I soothe myself? How can I look outward to find something that's going to fill me up inside? And it doesn't work that way, kids. No siree. It doesn't work that way. You end up hurting yourself more. You end up dragging out the healing process. And like what I did, tell you what, this is the little nugget for the night. What do we got? I want to leave you people wanting more, so I'm not going to give it all away because you got to tune in again next week. It is 10:25. We have 5 more minutes. So what ends up happening is when you're hurt and like attracts like, because this is like universal law, right? Law of attraction, like attracts like. That which is likened to itself is drawn. So when you're hurting and you're sad and you think that you're going to soothe yourself by, oh, let's go find a relationship. Let's go find somebody to, like, you know, be with in that misery. Guess what you're going to attract? Somebody even more miserable than you. Either as or more miserable. And that's exactly what I did. I attracted a man who was super depressed. He and I both were grieving lost loves. That's what we bonded over. It was your classic codependent rebound relationship. And it was exactly what my pattern was. It's so difficult to get over this on my own. Let me soothe myself by bringing in another relationship. And like I said, emotionally, that could fly when you're 21, 25, maybe even 28. But when you are already in your 40s and you start with that bullshit, life, the universe will intervene, step in, and throw you for a loop that will rattle you to your core. And when I tell you, emotionally bring you to your knees. That's what happened to me. I was brought to my knees emotionally. It was so heavy and such a spiral that I just, you know, had no choice but to come out of it alone. go inward and rebuild. I mean, that's all it was. It was like brick by brick rebuilding my emotional house. And it was, you know, the best thing that I ever did in my life. It completely changed the trajectory of my life. I became inspired to document my whole story, my whole journey, and like codify it. And then with the inspiration to teach it to other people and to like share my story and basically help people through their divorces, through their transitions from divorce to being single again. Couples avoid all the crap that I went through, that I did in my marriage to help save the marriage. I mean, that's like the goal. If I could get with a couple and help them see what it is that they're doing and that it's not about the other person sitting next to them, it's about them as individuals, and that they could potentially work on that while still together and salvage the marriage. My God, that would be like the best client. Oh my God. And I love all my clients. I love them all because they're all representing me at some point in my journey. I see myself in them, and it's for them to walk through on their own. And I can't tell them like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do, like, they have to see it through. But if I could share something with them to make them think in a way that's going to be more self-loving to themselves, then that's awesome. Awesome. So, oh my God, my dad is watching. Hi, Dad. And he just commented. So clubs aren't really the place to meet people. Like, my dad's just, thanks, Dad. Love it. So much support. LG, we've all been there searching for escapism. See, with time, I realize it's all about tending to the roots, focusing on your goals, priorities, and desires, using your time wisely. Yep, that's 100% what it is. For me, when I was going through my 90-day post-breakup detox, mashup, divorce detox, I was like in this apartment more than out. When I was out, I had this heaviness to me. I was, luckily I had some good friends to like get me out of the house and like do stuff with me and whatever. It was awesome. But like I could only eat when I was out of the house. So I had this weird eating thing, which I'll get into next week deeper. That's when I'm going to really like get into this healing process and hopefully like give you guys some tools and stuff. So like if you guys know people out there who are like going through a fucking epic level breakup or funkiness in their relationship, the aftermath of divorce or whatever, like next week's gonna give you all of that. And also the breakthrough from it. So I'm gonna go into like what happened to me in the spring of 2015, and then what went through that summer, and then what went through my breakup detox, and how I emerged like clear and like, holy shit, I know exactly what I want. And I'm not dating anybody. I'm just going to chill. And then I'm just going to chill and get into a good, happy place. And then from there, someone will find me. And I'll find them. And all will be well. And that's where I'm at now. So I'm going to leave you with all the love in my heart. Kisses for everybody. This was such a great turnout. I'm so grateful for that, because I swear I have no idea who's going to turn on 10 o'clock at night. Like, who the hell is going to give a shit about me at 10 o'clock at night? But I love you for doing so. And it is 10:30, I think, on the dot. So good night, everybody. Thanks for much for watching Lisa's Lowdown on Love Live. Catch you next week. Bye.